Hello everybody, this is Francisco Perez with another educational lesson. How y'all doing out there? Alright, we over here at beautiful Diamond Head. Let me show y'all what we're working with. Show you what we're working with here. So I'm bringing y'all to where I like to meditate. For some reason, every time I'm here, I write a lot of songs, and I do a lot of thinking that helps me. So I'm bringing y'all here for this lesson. Here we are. All right, let's see if I can get you back to where you was. All right, so today we are going back into the book, The History of the American Indians by James Adair. All right, I'm gonna go into argument 3. Here we go. Argument 3. Agreeable to the theocracy or divine government of Israel, the Indians think the deity to be the immediate head of their state. All the nations of Indians are exceedingly intoxicated with religious pride and have an inexpressible contempt of white people, unless we accept those half-savage Europeans who are become their proselytes. Nothing is the most favorable name they give us. In their set speeches, even the Indians who were formerly bred in amity with us and in enmity to the French used to call us in their war orations Hotuk Ok Prose, the accursed people. But they flatter themselves with the name Hotuk Orotopa, the beloved people, because their supposed ancestors, as they affirm, were under the immediate government of the deity who was present with them in a very particular manner and directed them by prophets, while the rest of the world were aliens and outlaws to the covenant. Now this is the Aboriginal Americans, the autochthonous people, copper colored with springy afro to woolly hair, with full beards, but there were nations without. But this was specifically talking about the full bearded people that you see in the etching in the rocks, in the pyramids. All right. And you say, oh, I see a lot of pictures they're not full bearded. But yeah, of course, because we did a lot of martial arts and we did a lot of wrestling. And I know in Hawaii, the chiefs would shave their beards at a certain time when we was worshiping many gods, and we would shave our beards so that when we wrestle, we wouldn't have all the hair. We'd shave our whole body was shaved, like baby's bottom. Okay, where we at? When the Archimagas or any one of their magi is persuading the people at their religious solemnities to a strict observance of the old beloved or divine speech, he always calls them the beloved or holy people, agreeable to the Hebrew epithet Ami. During the theocracy of Israel, he urges them with the greatest energy of expression he is capable of, a strong voice and very expressive gestures, to imitate the noble actions of the great and virtuous forefathers, which they performed in a surprising manner by their holy things and a strict observance of the old beloved speech. Then he flourishes on their beloved land that flowed with milk and honey, telling them they had good and the best things in the greatest plenty, and speaks largely of their present martial customs and religious rites, which they derived from the illustrious predecessors, strictly charging them not to deviate from the laws. Do not add, remember, in the least of that, out of that old beloved beaten path, that they will surely meet with all the successes that attended their beloved forefathers. And we learned that the Buddha, which means servant in Hebrew, his teaching said, forget the man, do not follow man, because men can be led astray, but follow the laws, follow your culture, your customs, find what is right and find what is wrong, and embody what your ancestors was. Everybody got different ancestors, but I'm a part of the Afro-Asiatic family, full-bearded family, so that's my ancestors. I have heard the speaker on these occasions, after quoting the war actions of their distinguished chieftains who fell in battle, urging them as a copy of imitation to the living, assure the audience that such a death, and we don't have that today. We don't have, people to look up to that's a part of our culture and heritage. We don't have that. And such a death in defense of their beloved land and beloved things was far preferable to some of their living pictures that were only spending a dying life to the shame and danger of the society and all their beloved things, while the others died by their virtue and still continue a living copy. Then, so soften the thoughts of death, he tells them, they who died in battle are only gone to sleep with their beloved forefathers, for they always collect the bones, and mention a common proverb they have, intahaya, see, because it has a line over the top, which meant you extend it. But this is interesting how they collected the bones, because here in Hawaii we collected the bones too, because we believe that the power was in the bone, and if you collected the bones, you would possess the power of that person and that family lineage. So that's when we killed Captain Cook for trying to step out of line. He was trying to pull some take over the Hawaii crab. So we showed them the power we had. And without his men knowing, we stole all his knives and silverware and took it on his boat and stole his boat. And when he found out, he was furious, and he knew that something was up. So he said, let's take a chief captive, because, man, they're gonna get us. They're gonna get us. So when he did that, we didn't just step down; we killed them, and some of them got away. And that's when they knew they had to come with bioweapons. All right. The days appointed or allowed him were finished, and this is their firm belief. And the reason why I bring up my mom's heritage, because I know it so well. I lived here most of my life, and I'm always searching for answers. So that's why I bring that up. But my father's heritage is in America, and he's an Afro-Asiatic, full-bearded person. So I don't know how y'all feel about me, but shit, that's my people too. And when I distinguish between them, it's not because I'm saying that that's not my people. I'm saying that there's a distinguish between certain family groups in certain regions, and that's what I'm trying to say. But I'm here to set the record straight. I'm an Afro-Asiatic, full in, full out. All right? as their firm belief, for they affirm that there is a certain fixed time and place when and where everyone must die, without any possibility of averting it. So they figured that you had a destiny and there's no avoiding your destiny. They frequently say such a one was weighed on the path and made to be light, ascribing life and death to God, unerring and particular providence. Which may be derived from a religious opinion and proverb of the Hebrews that the divine care extended itself. If I'm yelling, that's my bad, but it's windy, all right? Where am I? Shit. All right, hold on, give me a second. Extending itself from the horns of the unicorn to the very feet of the lice. And the more refined part of the old heathens believed the light. The ancient Greeks and Romans, who were great copiers of the rites and customs of the Jews, believed there were three destinies who presided over human life and had each of them their particular office. One held the defense of his native city, Troy. He adds, Diis aliter vi sumest, submitting to the good and wise providence of the gods, who thought fit to calm him off the stage. However, he seems to be perplexed on the subject, as he makes fate sometimes conditional. Similis si cura fueset, nec parte omnipotens troden neca fata vetapant stare. If the usual proper care had been taken, neither Jupiter nor fate would have hindered Troy from standing at this time. But if the time of dying was unaltered fixed, according to the Indian system or that of the fatalists, how would its votaries reconcile the schemes of divine providence, which must be in conformity to truth, reason, and goodness? And how explain the nature of moral good and evil? On their principle, self-murder would be a necessary act of a passage being set on work by the first mover, and his obligations would be proportionable only to his power and faculties, which would excuse the supposed criminal from any just future punishment for suicide. But religion and true reason denied the premises, and they themselves will not own the consequence. Is it their opinion of the theocracy, or that God chose them out of all the rest of mankind, or man, and his peculiar and beloved people, which animates both the white Jew and the red American? With that steady and red American, that's what I am. Look at that. I'm a red American. I turned purple after. That's why all our people's pictures, they see them dark most of the time, unless they were chiefs and stuff, where they sometimes chiefs would stay in a lot, they wouldn't get sun a lot. But that's not all the time. Most of the time they got all the sun. That's why all of them is dark. We always was outside. The stuff we wore, we was revealing, so we got the vitamins we needed. We changed the cholesterol in our body. We changed the cholesterol in our body. Something happened in my phone, my bad. To vitamins. Vitamin B and vitamin D. Alright? Alright, so where we at? With that steady hatred against all the world except themselves, and renders them hated or despised by all. The obstinacy of the former is shutting their eyes against the sacred oracles, which are very explicit and clear in the original text, and of which they were the trustees, incite both our pity and reproof. whereas the others form adherence to and strong retention of the rights and customs of their forefathers only attract our admiration. The American Indians are so far from being atheists as some godless Europeans have flattered themselves. You hear that? The American Indians are so far from being atheists as some godless Europeans have flattered themselves to excuse their own infidelity, that they have the great sacred name of God that describes his divine essence, and by which he manifests himself to Moses, and are firmly persuaded they now live under the immediate government of the deity, the ascension of the smoke, their victim, as sweet favor to Haya, of which hereafter is full proof to the contrary, as also that they worship God in a smoke and cloud, believing to him to reside above the clouds and in the element of the supposed holy annual fire. It is no way material to fix. Oh, this is a bad CD. My bad, family. This is uncomfortable, but I'm doing it for y'all. I do all this for y'all, man. I could be working right now. You know what I mean? I hate to be always working and not have being with family, but could be doing a lot of stuff right now that will benefit my family and myself. But this is benefiting my family abroad, near and far. That's why I do this. All right? In the element of the supposed holy annual fire, it is no way material to fix any certain place for the residence of him who is omnipresent and who sustains every system of beings. It is not essential to future happiness whether we believe his chief place of abode is in Cielo Tertrio, Paradiso Terrestri, or Elemento Igneo. God hath placed conscience in us for a monitor, witness, and judge. It is the guilty or innocent mind that accuses or excuses us. To him, if any farther knowledge was required, it will be revealed. But St. Paul studiously conceals the mysterious he saw in the empyreal heavens, the place of the divine residence, and commonly said to be above the clouds. But that is because of the distance of the place, as well as our utter ignorance of the nature of Elohim's existence, the omnipresent spirit of the universe. Our finite minds cannot comprehend a being who is infinite. This inscrutable labyrinth occasioned Simonides, a discreet heathen poet and philosopher, to request Hero, king of Sicily, for several days successfully to grant him a longer time to describe the nature of the deity, and at the end to confess ingeniously that the farther he waded in that deep mystery, the more he sunk out of his depth and was less able to define it. If we trace Indian antiquities ever so far, we shall find that not one of them ever retained or imbibed atheistical principles, except such whose interest as to futurity and notoriously appeared to be, whose practices made them tremble whenever they thought of a just and avenging God. But these rare instances were so far from infecting the rest that they were the more confirmed in the opinion, and not being able to either to live or die well without a God. And this all nature proclaims in every part of the universe. Argument 3. In the book James Adair. I'm gonna take y'all for a little spin. All right, see the beautiful Hawaii. Hawaii. Kuni kau mana I kalai. O vai lai vai lua. Hukia le kalani. Kau papa o ka vai kini. Hukia le kalani. That's beautiful Hawaii. And that's a chant asking permission